Peter's wife, Diana.
They were deployed to build schools and bases and to assist the Marines.
When the mortar round hit, I was completely knocked out. I didn't wake up until 6 days later.
Paralyzed veteran, Senior National Service Officer Raymond Bruce.
I saw Pete when he was at his worst. He didn't know if he was going to live to be able to see his daughter graduate from high school.
Raymond knew that I needed help figuring out where do we go from here.
We not only represent the veteran, but we represent the whole family.
11 months we stayed in the hospital down in Tampa.
We advocate, we educate, and we process claims through the VA, and we follow that claim from the beginning to the end.
Without Paralyzed Veterans of America, I really honestly believe I'd still be in the hospital.
You can help our paralyzed veterans. To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
Gallbladder problems, gingivitis, a bad back, indigestion, fatigue, low libido, not sleeping well, need to lose weight. Just some of the topics you'll hear about. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Martin. Join me Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hurricanes can cause severe damage to your home or property, so if you need storm repairs, make sure you use only Florida licensed contractors. Remember to check their references, get everything in writing, and don't pay up front. To verify your contractors are licensed, contact the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation online at myfloridalicense.com. That's
bankruptcy law, along with health show topics like pain management, men's health, and dental implants. Now, sit back and enjoy today's Ask the Experts with host Steve-O.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another Ask the Experts. And we finally got Miss Family Law live in studio. God, you were on a
Miss Family Law,
vacation.
is that like a pageant?
Yes. You were on vacation one time, and then the other time you were sick. And,
Yeah, I keep missing you guys.
Well, listen,
so here I am.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you back. And you're here with your new Instagram.
Yes. So yeah, we
were just talking about it.
Yeah, so Instagram is everything, and I waited this long to start an Instagram account for. Well, I kind of started it for the firm for Lewert Law, which is my divorce law practice, but just in the last week, I've gotten tons of attention because of, I guess, what I sort of called the page and the way we branded it. So it's on Instagram. It's Congrats on Your Divorce. One word.
That's the name of it.
That's the name.
She was telling me. I said, I didn't know you were married. That's the name of the Instagram.
Yeah. So, and it's really, the things that we're posting. Obviously, divorce tips. A little bit of divorce insight, some divorce humor, but a lot of it is also motivational and positivity and things like that. Because of the stigma of divorce. So I have so many clients that come in, and I mean years and years of this, where people come in and they're going, I waited too long. I waited so long. I've been unhappy for years. I knew this was over years ago, and we tried to work it out. And whether it's quote, stay together for the kids, or which is a whole. I could have a whole show just about that. But what
percent of your clients say that to you?
A lot, and it's surprising to hear, because I have a lot of clients that are of a middle-aged or younger generation, and I think that some of those social stigmas are, in 2018 they're antiquated and they're outdated, and I do, some of the older clients that I have, the gray divorces we call them, they'll come in and they'll say, it's a failure, and they feel bad about themselves because the marriage itself is ending, and the idea, the dream of the marriage and the white picket fence and holding that together and having their children be children of an intact marriage and all those things. And if you talk to the family law therapists that we work with in our cases, and that a lot of our clients go to, they'll tell you something different. I mean, and a lot of the people will say, I've really failed here, and I was afraid to get a divorce because what are my friends going to think, and what are my family going to think, and my parents are going to look down on me, and I actually do see some of that too. I see people that they're like shunned from their family, and some of it has to do with
taboo to get a divorce.
Well, I wish it weren't, and I'm that's the thing. So I put this out there because, and this is me coming from. This is obviously not legal advice. I'm not a therapist, so I'm not qualified to say.
Might as well be.
Listen, you got to get over it. But this is me as a person who does this for a living. I see this every day, week after week, year after year, and just my observations of what I've seen in my line of work. I'm kind of. I put this page out there, and the sentiment behind it is. There are a lot of positive things that can come out of a divorce.
Wow.
A lot of positive things, a lot of positivity about yourself. I see people come in and they've tried so hard to keep this thing together that was just so ugly and sometimes abusive and what's better? A child that's living in a house where their parents are screaming at each other every day, or a child that has two parents who happen to live in two separate houses and they're happy and calm because they've done what they had to do to get out of what's essentially an abusive situation. So but I see people that come in and they start to get it. But it's just something that I kind of see the outcome too, and I see people who have a lot of positive things that they feel. They sort of start to say, "Hey, wait a minute, my self-esteem is demolished, and my self-worth is nothing because I've been in this unhappy situation for so long." And to come out of that and to do better for yourself, and that makes you a better person and a better mate for whatever the future holds, and also a better parent. So that's sort of what we're doing. We're posting on that Instagram.
Well,
and it's fun. I got a lot of good reaction to it.
Attorney Tina Lewert knows so much about this. She's not just a family attorney. She's a board-certified family attorney. So I can call her an expert, or you can call yourself an expert, and the bar can't do one thing about it. And you know what?
The bar's the one that says I'm the expert. Yeah. So yeah.
So what you've done to be board certified, you are due that respect, and this is all you do is
Correct.
Family law.
Yeah, that's 100% of my practice is family law.
Write this down, Tina Lewert, Lewert. Tina's been with us for like 3 years, and I love doing the show with you because your passion shows. You're educated, but you don't talk over people's heads. You get it. I'm like in awe after 30 minutes with you. And I got to tell you, and I've told you this before, we work with a lot of attorneys around the country, and family law is probably one of the few areas of law where some attorneys just pull their hair out and say, "That's it, I'm through with it," and they go on to something else.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, it takes a certain type person, and you're it.
Well,
how long have you been practicing now?
I've been practicing for 18 years. And 100% of my practice is family law. So we're doing divorces, within the divorces, alimony, child support, child custody, distribution of assets. We also handle some domestic violence matters that come up within the context of a divorce. Post-judgment, meaning after the divorce, we have modifications. We have contempt enforcement matters when people aren't following their obligations from the divorce. And so it's all family law. And
well, what's so good about that is this is all you do. You live and breathe family law, whereas you might see, and I have seen attorneys that have their shingles are a mile long, seems like they do everything. You can't be good at everything, but you can be good at one thing.
I can't. I mean, I don't know.
I wonder how they do it.
Yeah, I wonder how they do it. And with family law especially, it's so intricate and multifaceted. There are so many issues within one family law case. We go to trial, we might be trying 20 issues within one case.
Wow.
And it's a lot of things to know. We're talking about assets and businesses and child-related issues. Yeah, I mean, it's rewarding, and it's rewarding, and it's fascinating to me. And I always say, and I think I've said this before on the show, I think the people that do, not just lawyers, but the people that have been drawn to the family law realm and to be divorce attorneys, there's probably, if we dig deep, there's some reason that we're passionate about it. There's some reason that I'm passionate about promoting an
Right.
Instagram page about, child abuse and emotional abuse and getting
way of
out of
giving
that
back, too, though.
situation. And yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that, and the more that I see it and the more that I help people, the more rewarding it is.
18 years.
18
So you're in
years,
Boca.
wow.
So you practice in Palm Beach County, but you also practice in Broward County.
Palm Beach and Broward mostly. I get calls from sort of all over.
It's 'cause you're good.
And I
It's 'cause
will
you're
go all
good.
over. But I tell people usually if you have a case in a county where you want to hire an attorney who practices a lot in that county because there are differences. There are local cultures
Right.
and local procedures and things. And just even walking into the courtroom, when I walk into the courtroom in Palm Beach and Broward, for the most part, they know who I am. They've seen me
Exactly.
before. They know that I'm one of the good guys, and they know that I'm no not. They know
And you
they
know
know how
about
I
them, too.
practice, and I know about them too. And I can tell my clients, this judge likes it this way. This judge doesn't like this. Don't do this in front of this particular judge. And I can do that. So I always tell people, I think that when you're looking for a divorce attorney, you should hire somebody who knows the local culture, I'll call it, the local legal culture in that courthouse.
Now, we've never, ever discussed prices, but I got to tell people, because I hear it all the time, well, there's some people who try to do their own. Big mistake. Big, huge. But there's people who will choose their attorney based on their price. And I got to tell you, all the friends I know, including myself, mine, I went with the college friend of mine.
Oh.
It wasn't because of his price. It's like, okay, he's a college friend. I can trust him.
Right.
Trust me. That doesn't mean anything. Don't pick an attorney because you went to school together. It doesn't mean a thing. He got me in more trouble I could possibly imagine. Pick someone that you feel good about. Because they're going to come in and you're going to interview them, but they're going to kind of interview you.
Well, absolutely. And in this area of law, with this type of case, this type of legal matter, you're going to be working very closely with your attorney, and you're going to you have to sort of like them. That's a thing. I think it's there, but you have to trust them. You have to feel comfortable that they know what they're doing, that you're in good hands with them. It's important, I think, that they're reachable. That's a thing, especially in family law. We have urgent matters that come up all the time, and you might need guidance at any given time. So that's an important thing. But yeah, you have to feel comfortable with the person that you're going with, and as far as the the prices and the expenses, any type of litigation, you're in court, you have a case that's pending. Yeah, it's an expensive. It's going to cost some money, and it's expensive. And just like with any service,
and if there's a lot of assets,
you get what you pay for.
Also, yeah.
Is that a thing? I mean, that's kind of what I think. I don't know what I know what the going rates are. I mean, if you talk to 2-3 attorneys, you'll find similar rates, similar hourly rates, similar upfront retainers that they ask for. There's sort of a range. There's a going rate. For what the average is, and there are people that will charge a lot less than that, and there are people that will charge a lot more than that. And I don't know. I mean, again,
Mine's
you have to look
choose
at
someone because they're the cheapest. Because I know of a lot of women.
To me, that's a red flag. But and I'm not just talking about in the law. I'm talking about with anything.
You're absolutely right. Because most of the people I know who looked at price are so sorry that they didn't really research it better rather than the first question, how much do you charge? Now, I know there's only so much they have.
Correct, yeah.
But listen, this is really important. This is something that could go on for many years. I mean, like if you're got kids involved, it could be something for the next 18 to 20 years.
Right, yeah.
So what I'm saying
is... It's the future of so many things.
Exactly. Don't use that as the only criteria of an attorney. So, what we've been doing, and give everybody your website, first of all.
Sure, the website
Great
is
website.
www.lewertlaw.com, LEWERT law.com.
And
we're on Facebook also, Lewert Law.
Also.
And then Instagram is Congrats on Your Divorce.
I love Facebook.
Yeah.
I really like, do you go on it much?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really love Facebook. But you know what, I'm hearing a lot of good things about Instagram, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people are starting
more
to
and
go
more.
to
I think more people are on Instagram than are on Facebook. That's what I'm...
You know what, I think I believe that.
Yeah.
So, we're going to go to break, and then I've got so many questions for you. People have been writing going, did you ask my question? Did I miss it? Because they thought the show was live when you were on, but we weren't. We were,
the last few weeks, yeah. But we are now.
We're
now.
Live. So we're going to go to break,
live.
and we come back. We have the last quarter of the show with Tina Lewert.
Lewert Law Offices is proud to be the family law expert on the Ask the Expert show. Attorney Tina Lewert is a board-certified specialist in marital and family law. Attorney Lewert is committed to obtaining the best resolution for your divorce or other family law case by consistently providing skilled representation, expert legal advice, and personal attention. Attorney Lewert has developed an excellent reputation for providing effective divorce and family law representation in Boca Raton and the surrounding communities. Lewert Law Offices offers legal advice and representation in a wide range of family law matters, including divorce, child custody, time sharing and visitation, child support, alimony, complex asset distribution, post-judgment modifications, and paternity actions. For expert representation in all aspects of divorce and family law, contact Attorney Tina Lewert today at 561-544-6861 or visit www.lewertlaw.com.
So we're here. We're live in studio today. I'm here with Tina Lewert, Lewert Law. If you'd like to call here, we have a toll-free number, 888-565-1470. We normally don't open it up to callers, but you're sending us all these emails, so we might as well open it up to callers also. And you can actually watch the show on your website.
On my website. Yeah, I think I put up...
If you miss it, you can go back and watch it.
I put up my website, and I put up, I think, the Facebook page where he's on Facebook Live at the
right.
AMP2 TV, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, these since it's been a while, I'm going to go back and ask some of these questions. And you know what the number one question that people don't understand?
What?
No fault.
Ah.
Number one question.
Yeah. That surprises a lot of people.
What does no fault mean?
Well, it means a couple of things, and sort of the more popular version, but the legal meaning of it is that in Florida, we don't need grounds to get a divorce. You don't need to prove adultery or abuse or anything like that to get a divorce. You just need to file your petition. Doesn't matter who files first. It's just a matter of, usually who wants to get it going.
So do you even need a reason?
You don't. The only reason you state in the petition is the marriage is irretrievably broken, and that's a legal phrase, and what it means is that the marriage is over. There's nothing anyone can do to put it back together, and the court will never ask you why, whose fault it was, who tried harder, who walked out of counseling, who didn't want to go to counseling, who did. What they won't. It's not legally relevant, and you don't need to prove grounds. I get a lot of calls and a lot of questions about that, and I have evidence that they did this or that, and a lot of it is most of the time legally irrelevant, and sometimes people are not too happy to hear that, but that's the essence of no fault.
The second most popular question is, and it was all these. I think these are all women.
Okay.
Asking this is, I think my husband is hiding assets. Mm-hmm. How do I find out?
So there,
and it didn't sound like they were in the actual divorce. They were talking like, I'm thinking about getting a divorce. I think my husband's hiding money.
Right.
Because no one said my wife.
So a few things. I hear that a lot, and I hear, so when they get to the point where they're hiring me.
Right.
And they are ready for the divorce. I have a lot of people come in, and not to sound sexist in any way, but it happens to be a lot of women that come in and tell me, I have let my husband run the finances. I don't know what we have. I don't know what's there. Some of them will go the next step and say, and I think he's stashing away money, or there's money somewhere that I don't know about because that's the kind of person he is, or because that's just what I think, or whatever. So a couple of things. In the divorce context, what we can do is we typically would start by saying, well, let's hire a forensic CPA. We do a lot of financial disclosure in the divorce. That's a requirement. In some cases, depending on the case, depending on what the assets are, depending if there's a business that's owned by one of the parties or the husband, will say, let's hire a forensic CPA and have them literally go through tons and tons of financial documents years back and do a tracing and try to figure out, is everything accounted for? Does everything add up? Do all the transfers make sense? And are all the assets accounted?
No. Maybe some of them might not want to give this stuff up.
Well, okay, so you get the forensic CPA. If I'm the wife and I'm hiring a forensic, we're going to ask for certain documents. If the again, we're using husband in this situation, if he doesn't produce the documents, then he's technically bound by the rules of the Supreme Court. Rules require this disclosure. If he doesn't, then we go to court. We do motions to compel, and if he still doesn't, then we're doing motions for contempt, and the judge can order sanctions and fines, monetary sanctions, paying the other spouse's fees.
So you're going to get
for
the
having
documents.
to deal with all this. We're going to get the documents. In the marriage, though, that's in the divorce context. That's one of the things we typically do. And there are all kinds of other asset searches and things that you can hire an investigator to do and things like that. But during a marriage,
are you going to tell me
if you could go back in time?
Do that?
No, I would.
While they're married, they want to know.
What they should be doing is they should be taking a part in the financial management and
so
saying, hey, I don't know what we have.
School.
Yeah, I don't know what we have. Can I see what we have? Can I look at can I have access to that? Some people will say if the marriage is sort of on the rocks, they're going to therapy. And that's something that sometimes I'll see the therapist sort of almost mediating that issue. You need to open the books because this person, one spouse doesn't trust the other.
Gotcha.
And there needs to be, a place of trust so that everybody's on the same page and that both parties are aware. And, if you don't, I understand usually the financial management does fall to one spouse or the other because it's just easier. But you should really, when you're married, it's a partnership and it's like you're one person and you should get involved. You should know what you have and make sure that you have access to those things and to that information.
Well, the third most asked question, which this is going to be so easy because I know the answer to this.
Okay. Then you can answer.
Well, no, I mean, it's easy. You're going to have to give everybody the bad news.
Okay.
Do grandparents have any rights? I was shocked. I mean, people have wrote us.
Yeah.
Ask Tina, do grandparents, because I'm really close with my grandchild.
You always, this one always comes up. I know, and that's great, and they're great grandparents, but no, legally, there are no rights in a custody proceeding in Florida for grandparents to get time. They call it visitation.
So
we call it time
want
sharing.
The grandparents involved, or they don't want them to see the kid. They don't have to.
Technically, I mean, usually what I tell people is this. You're going to have time sharing. I guess best case scenario is usually 50-50.
Right.
And there's more and more cases are doing that. Most of the cases I see are doing 50-50 time sharing, whatever that may be, because 50-50 could be a lot of things. But the kids are going to see your family on your time, and they're going to see your spouse's family on there, and that's usually the way it happens.
Okay, so it's really not that big a deal.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, it's really not. It's, I see some grandparents are a lot more involved than others, and but I actually see people making more use, having more quality time because they know that their time is limited, and they just sort of make more use of that time, so it can actually result in better relationships.
Okay, I love this question because it's a hard one to answer, and it's about child support.
Mm-hmm.
How is that figured out? I know you have guidelines. Mm-hmm. We've done enough shows.
There's an equation. There's a calculation. There's an equation that's done. We plug in both parties' incomes once we determine their income. Well, the softwares that we use usually start with the gross number, but child support is based on a net income.
Okay.
So what does net mean? You get, you've got
after taxes?
Federal FICA, Medicare, but some people have like self-employment taxes. Some people have, like you'll have police and firefighters, they have mandatory union dues and mandatory pension contributions. So anything that's mandatory like that, they don't have a choice in, those things, they can deduct those things to reach the net number. Okay. So once we figure out the net, we have both parties' incomes, and then there's another factor that's applied for the time sharing. So the number of overnights per year that each party has with the children. And that's sort of, yes, there's a guideline, there's a chart, it's in the statute of, on this much income with these many children, this is how much the Florida legislature has figured out that it costs to raise those children with these two parties' incomes, but then there's a deviation for the time sharing. And generally, the more time sharing you have with the children, the more your child support should be that you're receiving, and vice versa. Because if you've got more of the time, then you've got more of what I call the overhead, the meals, the air conditioning, the water, the laundry.
More. Is that right?
Well,
if you're putting both
together, but it does matter who makes more. So there's that's also another sort of element of the equation is percentages. So if you've got somebody who makes 60% of the income and the other person makes 40% of the income, between the two of them, that's also applied.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am worried that my spouse will not grant me a divorce. Well, that goes to the no fault, right?
Yeah, and this actually came up just recently. I've had a couple cases like this. Generally, you can't fight the divorce itself.
Right.
If somebody wants the divorce, it's going to happen. So they don't have to sign. They don't have to. Fine. The goal usually is to get to a settlement, to not go to trial, to get to a settlement. And I call this the meat and potatoes of the case is your marital settlement agreement. And if you have children, a parenting plan as well, it's all in writing. Both parties sign it. If the other person says, I'm not signing anything, I'm not even participating in this, fine. Then you set it in front of the judge, and the judge makes all the decisions, and it's a court order. The judge doesn't need anyone to sign anything. He or she will enter a court order that the divorce is granted and how all those other things are done.
I think a lot of these people are like really thinking about getting a divorce. This lady said that she actually makes more money than her husband, but who is responsible for paying the attorneys?
So there's a statute in Florida that is on point in divorce cases and also what we call paternity cases when parties have a child but they're not married. There's a separate statute for that, but it's similar. And what it says is that the court can look at both parties' respective financial positions, one party's need, the other party's ability to pay fees. And if one person is in a much greater financial position to be able to hire an attorney, they try to balance that out. And that person may have to contribute to the other party's fees. Especially if that other person doesn't have access to funds, this could be income and assets.
Well, she was admitting she makes more money.
Yeah. So, and
but
it just depends how much.
She has to pay for his attorney.
Not
too.
necessarily. I mean, if he's got income, he should obviously contribute, and sometimes it's a proportionate thing. If his income is close enough to hers, but not, she still makes more. Maybe it's not really a fees case. It's different in every case. But they look at that. If somebody's got just a better ability to pay, and you're walking away with a lot more income or a lot more assets for some reason or whatever, a lot of times what happens is in these cases you're splitting assets, and there might be a child support or an alimony number where you're going to end up sort of on equal playing field here, and so it's not a fees case if everybody's kind of in an equal financial position at the end anyway. So it really depends.
After we do the show, it makes me, I want to go home and hug my better half. Just hug her and kiss her.
Aww.
Yeah, but
because you realize all the stuff that people have to deal with. Yeah,
I know. Deal with it.
I know.
Well, that was a fast 30 minutes.
It was. What?
But you'll be back again next month as always.
I will. I won't be on vacation and I won't be sick, I promise.
Dude, please
I'll be here.
Sick. Please. We love you here. Give everybody your phone number. Write this down. You never know.
It's 561-544-6861.
And your website address?
Website is lewertlaw.com, Lewert.
And I cannot wait to see this great Instagram.
It's fun.
I love the name. What a great brand
It's
name.
positive.
Yeah, so anyhow, we're going to go to break, and we come back. We've got Shane Farnsworth. He's a personal injury attorney who started with us a couple months ago, and we'll be right back. We'll see you next month.
Bye.